Chesa na pesa yako, lakini siyo kasi yako.
He started out as a watchman on the streets of Toronto and ended up a senior lawyer with multiple law firms across Canada.
And as a Kenyan, we always want to be the best and follow opportunities.
Now, he's all about finding justice for all those who've been wronged.
The work ethics is what drives me.
Yes, today on Daring Abroad, Mohammed Abdi Doli gives us his verdict on making it in the legal profession as a foreigner from his 22 years of experience.
As a black lawyer, I work 2 to 3 times harder than white lawyers. And I get less than those. Some of the things we do.
Wow, welcome once again to your weekly dose of inspiration. This is Daring Abroad, and it's uploaded every Saturday on your favorite YouTube channel, Chams Media TV. Karibu sana, I'm in Toronto, and guess who I've met? I've met a prominent Kenyan lawyer by the name Mohammed Doli, and Mohammed has been living here in Canada for about 37 years now.
35 years.
35 years. Karibu sana to the show. Welcome, Doli.
Asante sana.
Yeah, glad you are able. I mean, your Kiswahili is not bad.
Thank you so
Kiswahili
much.
hujasahau.
Kidogo.
Kidogo,
Yes.
yeah, kidogo,
Yes.
yeah.
Still keeping some.
Yes, and everyone has been telling me you can't leave Toronto before speaking to our lawyer, Mohammed Doli. So, Mohammed, we are glad to host you on this show. Let's begin by just understanding. So, what do you do exactly? And here do you say you're a solicitor, an advocate, lawyer? What do you do?
I am a lawyer. I am a litigator. Litigation is a courtroom lawyer. In my Twitter or X and LinkedIn, I describe myself as courtroom lawyer.
Courtroom lawyer.
Yes. I have an office in Toronto. I also have an office in Ottawa. In addition to litigation, I also do a lot of advocacy. Advocacy in putting pressure or persuasion on Canadian politicians and Western politicians that I come across, and always encourage them to look towards Africa and develop, bridge and link and relationship, whether it's business or cultural, with Africa. So I do a lot of advocacy in addition to my personal practice.
So in litigation, who are your clients? Who is your typical client?
My clients are diverse. First of all, I deal with personal injuries. That is motor vehicle injuries, slip and fall, medical malpractice, product liability, dog bites, assaults, injuries and impairments that flow from traumatic incidents. For example, one of the current cases I'm dealing in terms of product liability is, a woman was riding in an elevator and it suddenly fell halfway, and the client was injured as a result of that fall. And I'm suing the company that owned the elevator for the loss of that particular plaintiff. I also do a lot of medical malpractice. Those are the type of people I represent, and they come across community, from the mainstream Caucasian communities, Asian communities, African communities, as well as Middle East communities. So my clients are diverse. I landed in Toronto when I was in the mid-20s, young, and I was dressed typically in the Kenyan way. I did not even have an undershirt. So I get off the plane at midnight, and it was snowing. And I'm not dressed for that. I don't have shoes for that. And in the moment I left the comfort of the
plane,
the
airport,
and the doors automatically opened, the wind hit me on the face, and I retreated back. So that cold could kill me in a minute. But for God's grace, I didn't die. From thereafter, the Kenya culture in me came out. One thing as a Kenyan, growing up Kenya has given me is that pursuit of being the best. That pursuit of, following or chasing opportunity. That effort, that energy to work hard. Pursue the principle that play with your money, not with your job. That's what I learned in school. Chesa na pesa yako, lakini siyo kazi yako.
Siyo kazi yako. You came as a student?
No, I did not come back, but I immediately, when I got a job as a security guard, I enrolled in university.
Or you came without a student visa, enrolled, did security work, and then eventually went to school.
When I came to Canada, we did not require visa.
That time you didn't require visa.
No, we didn't require Kenya passport.
You came to work. Your purpose was to come and to work.
Came to the airport. I was picked by my relatives. I stayed for 2 weeks, and then I, went to a company that was hiring, security guards, and I told them, look, I'm a Kenyan, I don't have work permit, and they applied work permit on my behalf. So once I got work permit, I also applied for student work permit.
So ulikuwa soldier.
Yeah, so I was
watchman.
Working. I was a watchman night. And then I was also going to school in the morning.
During the day.
So
wow,
during the day.
Was
and
quite...
that's how I finished my first degree.
In law?
No.
The first degree was about?
Yeah, business.
Business. So your first degree was business. Then how did you transform into?
And then I worked. When I finished, college, I got a job with a bank, and I worked for 2 years. And as a Kenyan, we always want to be the best. Follow opportunities. I saw what I was making, and I said to myself, well, if I didn't leave Kenya, I would have earned, a house. I would be having a bed. I would be having income. I'll be eating. So why would I need that kind of thing? So by the time I was working for the bank, I got my, permanent residence. So then I applied to law school. Because I did very well in my undergrad, I applied to law school. I was admitted in law school. Because I had PR at that time, I was paying my expenses or, school fees, Canadian level. At that time, we were only paying $3,000 a year. So I had access to student loans and what have you. So that is how I again finished law school.
So when did you finish law school? Which year?
I finished law school in 2000. I was born in rural Wajir. Wajir, where I was born, there's no car. There was no light. There was no road. Right? And I went to primary school right from the Boma of Camel. My grandfather was a colonial chief, and he knew the importance of education. But he was also a very wealthy man in terms of camel and what have you. So by the time I was 6 years or 7 years, I was back and forth between Wajir and Camel Boma and what have you. So by the time I was 7 years, I was taken to a boarding school in Bona Primary School.
Wow.
Bona Primary School is located west of Wajir, about 90 miles. That's where I did my primary school, in boarding school, and then went to Wajir Secondary School, having finished in 1978. And then I worked for Mombasa High Court for a while as a court clerk.
As a court clerk.
That gives
straight
me,
from high school?
Yes. From there, I worked for a while, came to Canada.
Your story is very inspiring, from a village boy in Wajir to a prominent lawyer in Canada. That's quite daring, that's quite encouraging. So what would you tell Kenyans about the education system? Because it seems education is a key pathway to making it abroad. So what have you learned about Canada, and comparing maybe with other countries in terms of education? To what extent is it a pathway to daring successfully in Canada?
I believe in principle that no one can take away education from you.
No one can take away education from you.
And with education and the skills, whether you're in China or in Africa or North America, it's going to be with you. And you will utilize. You may make money, but you will spend the money. The money will go away. So when I came here, I had some of my classmates here in Wajir Secondary School. But when my friends pursued money, making money, buying cars, I opted otherwise. And I said, no. If I wanted to make money to live on, I would have done that in Kenya. So what I need here is education. And I pursued education, choosing education over making some money and driving a good car and what have you. I told myself, when you're educated and we have a good job, you good income, you buy the best car. And that's what happens to me. I drive a Mercedes-Benz, the latest. So if I would have continued working, I would not have been able to make that. So education, whether you come from a rich family or a middle-class family or a poor family, is your passport to success.
To what extent is Canadian education system unique? What have you learned about?
Well, first of all, Canada has one of the best colleges and universities. And we are cheaper than the US and UK. I know Kenyans, young Kenyans, first choice of further education is UK. UK is a very old horse.
An old horse.
An old horse cannot give you anything. It's very expensive when you finish your school, and your parents, so you have incurred a lot of expenses. They will not give you residence permits or citizens or what have you. And immediately when you incur all these costs and you finish all these costs and you finish your education, you'll go back home. Canada is not like that. First, Canadian universities, if not better than others, are equal. But I'll say my experience of Canadian institutions, universities, very, very high class. In terms of physical environment, in terms of social environments, in terms of caring attitude and what have you.
Give us the other side. I'm sure it's not that rosy.
I have been in Canada for 35 years. I've made good life. I have property. I have the life I wanted to be. But I don't feel at home mentally. I'm always the outsider. Notwithstanding the fact that I have contributed to the building of this country. I pay over 200,000 a year for taxes and what have you. I pay every month more than 30 to 50,000 on payroll taxes and what have you. Notwithstanding my contribution to this country. When I meet with fellow Canadians. Even before I speak and they detect my accent, they'll ask me, where are you from? My children who are born here ask, where are you from? Right? So even in terms of mental well-being, there's no place like Kenya. No one tells me when I'm in the airport of, JK, no one tells me, where are you from? Of course I'm from here. Yeah. Right? It's given. The downside is first of all, you're not at home. Third, I'll be very honest with you, as a black lawyer, I work 2 to 3 times harder than white lawyers. And I get less than those. Africa and Kenya are heaven on earth, naturally, in terms of the natural aspect, the beauty of our countries, the weather, the warmth of our people, the family environment. It's heavenly, but there is a social and political rot that turns our countries, our home, Africa generally, into hell. Yeah. So let Kenya and Africa be one in your mind. Your own personal being. You elect someone who is from your tribe. What have you gotten from him? If you have gotten nothing from that person, next time he comes for election, look at their record. Throw them away. Think about yourself.
Let's choose leaders wisely.
Absolutely.
Great. Wow.
Thank you.
That's a perfect parting shot, and we really appreciate your time on Daring Abroad. Your story is unique. You've shared how you transformed yourself from a village boy in Wajir to a watchman in Canada to a lawyer.
Unity Homes is a housing developer, and we focus on creating high-grade investment properties. We were founded in 2015 really with the aim of producing high-quality homes at an affordable price. At present, we have 3 projects ongoing within Tartu City. Silver Hill is a passion project. I love that London-style architecture. The ground floor is a dining room, living room, open-plan kitchen. It's got an electric fireplace. The whole thing opens up into your own private garden. We've got a gym, we've got a swimming pool, we've got a sauna, we've got a business centre, but we've also got a private park. I would urge anybody who's watching this, whether you're in the diaspora, whether you're in Kenya, you should get in touch with us. We make sure that these are pleasant places to bring up families.